tips and tricks to help your little business be big. This is Little Big Business, powered by Storby.
Well, kia ora everyone, and welcome to another episode of Storby's Little Big Business, where we give you tips and tricks on how to make your little business be big. Today, I am joined by a special guest, Simon Reynolds, who is the Managing Director of Pharmacy Alliance, which is one of, if not the biggest sort of pharmacy group in Australia. Simon, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Reuben. Thanks for the introduction.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, so I thought we'd just start. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will be familiar with Pharmacy Alliance and what you guys do. But do you want to just give us the sort of, elevator pitch, what you guys do, what you're about, and your role as a part of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess Pharmacy Alliance was started over 20 years ago by myself and some other like-minded pharmacists. And I guess our main point of difference is that we are pharmacist-led. So we own stores, as do our members, and our stores are all run the same way. So we sort of ride the highs and lows with our members. And essentially we offer a lot of products and services like the big franchise groups do, have at a much lower cost and as a member-based organisation. So it gives the pharmacy owners flexibility with what they can choose and what they can get involved in. And on that, we've got some good scale. So we're sort of nearly 800 stores across Australia, pretty much in every corner of our vast land, which has its challenges, but it also gives us that geographical coverage, which I guess represents, as you said, one of the largest buying groups in the country.
Yeah, awesome. So, and just for, again, I imagine most people listening in have a pretty good understanding of this, but what is the function of, a buying group or, the actual tangible support that you provide? How does that sort of function for a pharmacy, for those who may not be sort of familiar with that model?
Yeah, absolutely. The reason a pharmacy would join Pharmacy Alliance is predominantly to make the store more profitable. So through the buying power, we aggregate the buying power and then we pass on the discounts and the savings back to the members. So they'll get a tangible increase in their gross profit, dollar-wise, which obviously flows through to their bottom line. But the reason the membership's growing and the reason I guess the members are staying is not just based on profit alone, it's also based on the other tools and services. So as an independent pharmacy owner, it can be very lonely out there. You can feel very isolated. So being able to get access to more tools and services, such as marketing, such as IT, such as e-commerce, right across the board and because of our scale, we can provide that at a much lower cost. So we sort of find that members like the philosophy of being part of a bigger group, yet remain independent and still being able to do their sort of run their store with the benefit of the tools and the resources behind them.
Yeah, awesome. I think that's such an awesome philosophy, right? And it's something that I think we've chatted about. It's underpins a lot of obviously what you guys do. It's in your tagline. It's everywhere there, and also what we're doing here at Storby, which is why it's so awesome to be able to connect with you guys and sort of partner to support community pharmacies across Australia in that way.
Absolutely.
So what I thought we'd start with just a bit of a discussion. Obviously it's been a challenging probably 24 months, if we can round it up to that, and over the last wee while for
feels
a lot
longer.
Of different reasons. Definitely feels a lot longer than that. Crazy to think that, there was something other than what we now call this new normal, right?
Yeah.
I thought it would be interesting to sort of start a bit of a discussion just around, the importance of retail from the pharmacy side and sort of the role that that's playing in this sort of new world and the different ways that we're having to adapt to that. Do you have some sort of thoughts on that front?
Absolutely. Yeah, I guess Pharmacy Alliance started always as a B2B concept where we would, as I said, improve their buying and their bottom line. And then sort of roughly 5-6 years ago, the membership started to ask us ways to, how can we talk to the consumer? We don't want to be part of a bigger franchise, but we want to be able to talk to our consumer and attract more customers into our stores. So we came up with the concept of Alliance Pharmacy, which allows the pharmacy owner to be an independent operator, but have a overarching proposition to the consumer. And we have nearly 200 stores that are branded Alliance Pharmacy. And from that, we've developed this Healthcare Heroes campaign, which has really come through, I guess, the experience we've had through COVID, where pharmacists and frontline healthcare workers have really become, those heroes in the community, now administering vaccines and doing everything they can to support the health of their communities. So through that, talking to the membership, it's not only about what Pharmacy Alliance can provide, but it's also about what our suppliers and partners can provide to increase retail sales in the stores. Independent pharmacy in Australia has always typically been a large percentage to the dispensary. So it's typically been 80% of profit or income comes from the dispensary, so less than 20% is coming from the front of shop. And then we need to change that paradigm. We need to sort of move that out to 25, 30%, which we have actually done in the last 12 months. So our average across the Healthcare Hero pharmacies is now above 30% of incomes coming from front of shop. And that's been driven from a number of categories we've been working closely with, whether it's been diabetes, pain, immunity, and foot care. So focusing on some specific healthcare categories. And that's partnering with suppliers, as I've said, to leverage off what innovation they're doing, and then also do some above-the-line marketing around Alliance Pharmacy to drive consumers into an Alliance Pharmacy rather than a competitor.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I think that's such a great thing that the pharmacy industry has going for it. And we've seen it from, obviously, you guys with the campaigns you're running, and I think across the board, so many organizations who are out there supporting at that high level, right? And really helping to drive, as you say, that above-the-line sort of traffic.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not only what what we can provide, but we're in it together with the owners of the stores, because it's that execution piece, and what they do at a store level is that last bit to complete the sales. And without doing that, I guess the whole program won't work. Our job is to provide those tools and those resources, and attract the customers in, and then it's that last mile to whether it's staff training and product knowledge and store layout to then actually enable the sales to transform.
Yeah, for sure. So from your perspective, I mean, as you say, the beauty of, I guess, what you guys do is that you're actually on those front lines as well as being the behind the scenes support. So I guess you get to see the best of both worlds. I mean, from that front, what trends are you seeing from consumers and the way that they want to interact with their pharmacies, the sort of things and services and products and sort of things they're looking for? Is there anything that's standing out at the moment?
Look, it's certainly the last 18 months has created challenges, but through that's created opportunity. We're seeing new categories emerge, such as this immunity category, such as the cleanliness category. So people are more conscious of staying well rather than just being reactive and going into a pharmacy when they're sick. They're actually now going in and saying, well, what can you do to keep me well or to stop me from getting the viruses that are going around? And I guess it's also changing shopping habits. I resisted online shopping for a long time, and now my supermarket apps are my new best friend. And as an independent pharmacy group, we've been, it's very difficult for us to build that technology when all the stores don't trade under one common name. A lot of stores are called something different in their own demographic, which the community knows them at. So it's about finding, has been able to find another channel to market through e-com, which has been challenging. And I guess through that partnership that we found through Storby, where we've been able to partner with yourselves to create a bespoke model cost effectively for an independent pharmacy operator to talk to their local community and be able to really, I guess, define what an e-com solution would look like for a local pharmacy. I remember years ago, e-com was like something that would be this massive long tail, and you'd try to sell product nationally and and really, it was impossible to get it. It was very difficult to get it right. Whereas now it's just another channel to market for your consumers, for your existing customers, and potentially attract new customers in your local demographic and maybe a little bit wider. And certainly, a lot of our members have started to adapt or adopt what's happening in that space. And we're starting to see some really solid growth through that channel.
Yeah, for sure. And hey, I think what you touched on there, what you touched on there is really a fantastic point, as you said, around creating a bespoke offering, right? And I think that that's always been kind of the challenge of ecom. And anything online, really, whether you're selling online or not, is really that how do you stand out in that online
Yeah,
space? And I think what we see is a lot of the time that focus on a local community. There's obviously still things you can do there. You can, target ads at a local catchment and that sort of thing. There's absolutely heaps of things you can do. But what are you seeing from, in terms of what's working or what's not, from that finding ways to stand out to sort of differentiate your pharmacy, the individual, these
yeah,
independent pharmacies who are trying to carve out their own part of the market, right? Like, what are you seeing
yeah.
that's working, or the trends you're
Well, I
seeing in
mean,
that space?
it all starts with the consumer, and I'm sort of we're finding that the consumers are more savvy, and if you haven't got that offering bang on, then the consumer is just going to shop elsewhere. Personal experience looking at, I've been doing a lot more online shopping, and if I can't navigate around the site or I can't find what I'm looking for, if I can't get the advice online, then I'll just bin it and go to the next one. So once again, consumers are more savvy, which then relates to the offering and on how we need to, market the stores and how we need to position the pharmacies. And you got to get the basics right. So you got to have your right product at the right price and the right location. You got to have your ranging right. You've got to have your message to consumer right, as good as everyone else is doing that in the marketplace. So you can't just rely on convenience or that I'm a great pharmacist and I'm here for you, because every pharmacist needs to be there for their community. Convenience, yes, is a driver, but it's only one of the drivers. So you've got to have your basics right, and your basics now is also part of that e-com journey. That's just almost a given now, that a retailer needs to have that, because if you don't have it to retain your existing customers, you're going to risk some leakage to other competitors in your marketplace.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the other big thing we see as well, and that I know personally, I sort of think about even just from a Storby side, is the importance of trust in that space, right? Like, I think that there's so much that you rely on from personal cues when you're in a physical store, when you're talking to a real person, and particularly around something like healthcare, it's a pretty sensitive topic at times. And so the importance of trust, right, is there as well. And I think, as you were saying, that just getting it right from the start, everything sort of needs to be seamless and just sort of work. Otherwise, that can actually be undermining not only, just convenience and, this is a bit annoying, but it actually can be like does this seem legit? Do I want to give them my information sort of decision making as well? It's a whole nother dynamic there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, how are you sort of seeing the path forward from for Pharmacy Alliance, it's about bringing together groups of independents and obviously under your own branding as well to support and help them to grow. So what are you sort of seeing as the, first of all, if you want to speak to that sort of the upside of coming together as a group and the sort of power and the benefits you see of that. And then also, I guess, the path forward and how, the future for community pharmacy and what that looks like in that context as well.
Look, it's tough times for community pharmacy. I think we are under threat in terms of corporatisation. We have the Pharmacy Guild, which does a fantastic job in representing community pharmacy. However, there are larger groups emerging, even under the current ownership rules and the way that they are becoming more corporate style operators. And able to, for independent community pharmacy to continue to remain viable, we have to do it together. The only way through this is actually banding together and operating as one, and then using that as our collective muscle and our clout to work with our supplier partners, work with our technology partners, work with the marketing companies. I believe there even needs to be some form of consolidation with this independent group around whether it's branding or marketing or a value proposition. So independent pharmacy really stands for something, and there's a form of, to your point, consistency around trust and service and majority of pharmacy operators are fantastic out there in terms of what they do for their community, and it's a way to then tell that message and explain that message rather than go to a big box pharmacy or a discounter, which everyone you talk to, no one shops there, but the sales results don't actually show that. But if you're at a dinner party, no one will shop there, but of course, someone must shop there. And and but also to be sensitive to the consumer in terms of not taking the consumer for granted and being able to give them value and values right across the value chain, everything from service to health outcomes to knowing their grandchildren to understanding what they do and having that knowledge base. So, look, underlining everything we do is better together. We're trying to harness that collective muscle, and the more that we can, I guess, grow that network within Australia and provide that benefit, then everyone will benefit through the entire network.
Yeah, for sure. No, that totally resonates as well. I think when we're looking as, I guess, a platform that sits in between a whole lot of different organisations within that pharmacy industry, both in Australia and New Zealand, and sort of bridging that gap, that power of coming together and sort of making use of the common resources and the common sort of support that you can access there. I mean, we've seen it make a massive difference, and we love working with organisations who sort of get that and are promoting that as well. So it's really great to see. Awesome. I think one thing we like to do, I'm just realising now I'm going to throw you under the bus with this because I haven't sent you these questions in advance. So what we like to finish off with just a couple of sort of lighthearted questions just to, ease our way out. And so first of all, obviously in and out of lockdowns at the moment, there's got to be some show or book or something that's top of your reading or watching list. What's on the list for you at the moment?
Just finished actually a really pretty so it has some parallels to business, The Heist. So which they're very much looking forward to the next season of that coming out. But I can certainly see some similarities in the corporate world in particular around The Heist. So thoroughly recommend that. And but I haven't been binging too much on the old Netflix.
The work from home keeps us from having too much spare time, right?
It does.
And the other one, this is a bit of a harkening back to Storby's history. We used to be called small fish, and so I like to ask, if you were going to be a marine animal, what would you be and why?
Well, I'm a surfer at heart. Not that I've done much recently, but I do enjoy riding the waves. So probably an animal that sort of swims in the waves. So a porpoise or a dolphin or something that can sort of glide through and experience a bit of freedom.
Nice. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, well, thanks so much for chatting with me today. If anyone's listening and is interested in finding out more about Pharmacy Alliance, what you guys do, getting in touch, how can they do that?
Probably the best way to do it would be go to our website, so www.pharmacyalliance.com.au, or contact our member support office based here in Melbourne. So there's a general number that you can call, and feel free to get in touch, and we'd love to have a chat.
Awesome.
Thanks,
cool. Well,
Ruben.
hey, thanks so much again for your time, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Talk soon.
Cheers.